Needs a half tank. These wheels need a 2-lane. This radio needs 3 songs to play to get me across town to you. That dress needs to slip off. That hair needs to come down. Friday nights need to do what Friday nights need to do. That's the truth. Yeah, birds need bees and ice needs whiskey. Boys like me need girls like you to kiss me. Fishing in the dark needs nitty-gritty under that pale moon. Sweet tea needs that sugar stirring. Small town nights need both ends burning. Shades need drawing, hearts need falling, boots need knocking. Knocking boots, knocking boots, me and you. Oh, long weeks need a weekend. Cheap drinks need a slinging. That dance floor needs some me on you, and you on me tonight. Sing-alongs need to be sung. Tip bells need to be rung. Last calls need a call that cab, and back seats need I want you so bad. Yeah, birds need bees and ice needs whiskey. Boys like me need girls like you to kiss me. Fishing in the dark needs nitty-gritty under that pale moon. Sugar stirring, small town nights need both ends burning. Shades need drawing, hearts need falling, boots need knocking. Knocking boots, knocking boots. Girl, me and you. Doors need shutting, lights need cutting, lips need locking, boots need knocking, and birds need bees and ice needs whiskey. Boys like me need girls like you to kiss me. Fishing in the dark means nitty-gritty under that pale moon. A sweet tea needs that sugar stirring. Small town nights need both ends burning. Shades need drawing, hearts need falling, boots need knocking. Knocking boots, knocking boots, me and you. Oh, knocking boots.
Family and friends, my name is Leslie Davis, and on behalf of the family, I would like to thank you so much for joining with us today. I will join with you as we will listen and we will reflect and celebrate the life of Royden Max Milner, and known to most of you as Roy. Death in a number of ways unites us all. Roy's passing for a time demands that each one of us puts aside our work, our business and our pleasure to unite ourselves with each other, all who share in the common bond of love, loss and respect for Roy. This man's life is worthy of taking a few moments to show our respect for him and show our love to his family who share in this great loss. It is my hope that our service will be a time when you will feel the strength of family and experience the support of friends as we share in the celebration of Roy's life, reflecting today. To those of you who are joining us via live stream today, and I believe there are family members who weren't able to make it, we welcome you here today to share in the tributes and the memories of Roy's life. And for those of everyone else, if it's a time that perhaps you might need the reminder to put your phones on silent, now might be a good time if you haven't already done so. The poem chosen for today is called The Man That We Called Dad. The man that we called Dad, he never looked for praises. He was never one to boast. He just went on quietly working for those he loved the most. His dreams were seldom spoken, his wants were very few, and most of the time his worries, they went unspoken too. He was there, a firm foundation through all the storms of life, a sturdy hand to hold on to in times of stress and strife. A true friend we could turn to when times were good or bad. One of the greatest blessings, the man that we called Dad. Royden Max Milner was born on the 5th of October 1961 in St Helens as the oldest child of Max and Margaret Milner. Roy was the adored and loving father to Adam, Amanda, Sophia and Ryan, and respected father-in-law to Ashley, Matthew and Brodie, and devoted and much loved Poppy to Philippa, Aubrey and Darcy. Life is a gift given to each one of us, but so is family, and saying goodbye is never easy. The passing of someone we dearly love, someone we've shared the best part of our lives with, and though Roy fought his battle with cancer valiantly, it was definitely a life cut short. So today is a day for sharing good memories and being thankful that Roy is no longer in pain. Together in shared grief, you are taking the time to honour and pay tribute to his life. I was told that Roy was a man who thoroughly enjoyed his fishing, camping, four-wheel driving, shooting and bush cutting, and mutton birding, and I'm sure some of you shared those activities with him. He was a man who loved his outdoor and practical jobs, whether working on a farm or on a boat. He found opportunities wherever he lived to support his family. But from here on in, I'm going to share the memories and the tributes from the ones who knew him the best. And so from each different person, I will say who I'm sharing their tribute, but you get that they knew him the most. So from Adam, his words. There are so many things I wish I had said and done, but sadly can no longer do now that you are gone. But I want you to know that though you're out of sight, you will always be in my heart. Dad, I want you to know that I'll always cherish you. I'll always love you and always remember you. You are too precious to be forgotten and too priceless to ever be replaced. You were one in a million. The precious and unique Dad I cared for so deeply. Some of my fondest memories would be shooting, fishing, and you always supported me at football games. I would like to reflect on a camping trip we had. We were out catching crays, and boy, did we catch a few. They were coming out our ears, and we were giving them away. Can you imagine them? Dad had spoken to his brother Glenn about how many we were catching, that he decided to come down and join us. Dad swears as soon as his brother Glenn arrived at St Helens, the crays flew away because from that moment on, they pulled up the pots and they were empty. We always laughed together about this trip, and I promise you, Dad, I will never let Uncle Glenn live it down. Forever you will live on in my heart and mind. Forever you will live in my thoughts and never die. And until that day when we shall meet again, I'll continue to cherish all my memories of you. Love always and forever from Adam, Ashley, and your precious grandchildren. And now on behalf of Amanda and Ryan, thank you all for coming and celebrating our dad today. We will try and make this short and sweet. I'm not sure that's actually going to happen, but because he was not one for beating around the bush. As we stand here today, reflecting on the incredible life of our father, Royden, we are filled with an overwhelming sense of love and gratitude for the man he was and the profound impact he made on our lives and the lives of so many, even of you people here today. Today we want to share with you the essence of who our father was. A strong, loving and courageous man, and celebrate the beautiful memories we created together. One memory that will forever be etched in ours and our siblings' hearts is our father's adventurous spirit. We will never forget our countless camping trips, the excitement that always filled the air as we prepared for yet another adventure. We would pack up the car, hook on the boat, and head off. Car rides would be filled with all of us trying to sing, and maybe the occasional argument. And as soon as we got to the destination, we would all try and help him unpack. But we know for certain we always made it worse. So he would send us off down to the beach while he would set up the camp. It was the nights spent around the campfire, the early mornings to go pull in the pots and have a fish. The most cherished memories with him would just be the simple things. Just being in his presence, his warm hugs, and dad jokes. He was always there for everyone. Our dad was one of a kind, a devoted man. He was fearless, funny, loving, and maybe also very stubborn and pig-headed at times. But when he loved someone, he loved with every inch of his soul. Everyone that knew our dad knew how much of a free spirit he was, a gypsy, in other words. No sooner we were settling into a new place, and Dad would say, "I've got itchy feet." And that only meant one thing. We were about to pack up and head off to somewhere new. Dad wouldn't want people to be sad here today, but yet to celebrate his life and remember him for all the special memories you each held of him. We just wanted to finish up with a quote that means something to us. Letting go is hard, but being free is beautiful. Love you forever and always, Amanda and Ryan. And now from Brodie, Amanda's partner. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today to remember an amazing man who loved his family more than words can ever describe. He was a man who didn't care what background you came from, but instead he believed that everyone deserved a fair go. He was fiercely loyal to all his friends and family, and he would always be the first person to offer the shirt off his back if needed. What I remember most about the time I was lucky enough to spend with him is no matter what I needed help with, whether it be fixing a car or doing the odd jobs around the house, he never hesitated to lend a hand. I remember how witty and funny he was and how much he loved to stir everyone, but usually that was me the most, because he always knew I gave him the bite that he was looking for and have a good laugh. I can see a lot of heads nodding here. I can't even count the amount of laughs we had over the years, from when we were working on different things together while arguing at the same time about how to fix it, to when we would sit at family get-togethers or at the campsite long after everybody else had gone to bed and we were still up, cracking a few cans and chatting up a storm about anything and everything that sprang to mind. He was truly a great man that I will miss every day, but I'm pretty confident that he'll pop in from time to time just to scare me half to death. Fly high, mate, and enjoy knocking those beers back, but be sure to keep a few on ice until we meet again. For Soph. To Dad, you were and forever will be the most amazing father. You were my best friend, the person I confided in, my rock. It will be super hard without you, but I know you will always be by my side watching over me. I will cherish all our memories we shared together, and one favourite being when we went to Kevin Bloody Wilson. That was a blast and something I hold closely to my heart, as it was one of those things we had in common. I'll forever be missing you, but you will live on through all of us. Love, your pink eye Soph. And from his sister Jenny, who was unfortunately unable to be here at the last moment, but I know she's watching online, she wanted to share a couple of memories. When we were growing up at St Helens, we had a white rooster that Royden, when he was about 6 or 7 years old, he tormented this bird by crowing at it. The rooster hated Royden and would fly at him through the hen house. One day he walked home from school on his own, and lo and behold, the rooster was waiting for him as he walked through the gate. A screaming child was heard by all. The rooster was in pursuit, revenge. That bird was also in the pot the next day. We all went camping as a family, and on one trip Dad and Royden went to the passage at Coles Bay. The boat broke down and they had to walk in the dark back to Coles Bay. Many kilometres away, Mum thought that perhaps they'd been lost at sea, and he would have only been about 11 years old. We also, as children at St Helens, would trudge across the mudflats just for a swim, only to walk back home covered in mud. Mum was not happy, but it was fun, she said. Together we both went fishing and mutton birding, and for pocket money we gathered up the possums Dad had shot, ready for skinning. Royden would sleep in the next morning hoping that miraculously they would already be skun and pegged out. He knew that Dad would sort that out. I later met my husband Simon via them being close friends. They did so many things together. On one occasion he was weaving between the white lines between Campbelltown and Ross, only to put the car on its roof. Thankfully everyone was okay, but the car wasn't and did need some repairs. One night, floundering at Swanwick, he got angry with me, missing the fish, spearing them as he had to row the boat with a strong current. He booted my butt and I went clean over the stern, gumboots and all, with me screaming, "Sharks!" One New Year's Eve, we were floundering and Simon was waiting patiently for us to return. Simon would drive from Campbelltown to Swanwick. The roads were not sealed back then to see us, but nearly 4 hours of rowing the boat by Royden, we returned with 13 dozen flounder. There were comments of the task of cleaning and where to store them. Royden loved his boats and fishing. Another day in Dad's, Aquila boat, we were heading into the land, into land the boat upon the beach with a bit of throttle. One octopus had climbed out of the bucket and ventured up Royden's leg. This made him jump up with fright, and that the steering wheel became detached from the shaft, and it was still in his hands. What a mad dash it was to reconnect the wheel, she says. He didn't like octopuses. We beached with a thud. Jennifer said she was 7 months pregnant and roly-polied over the bow, but thankfully she was unhurt. He was always looking out for me. What an awesome brother to boot. May he be fishing, hunting, cooking and a bit of camping, reunited with his mum and dad. Love, Jen and Simon. And Shane. Where's Shane? Can I see Shane? Shane, I've got a message from you that I can read out. Well, mate, where do I start? You were my mate, but you were more like a brother. I moved in with you at St Mary's. Didn't we have some good times? The time we went to Cornwall and got drunk. You can't remember driving home, but we woke up the next morning with the front door still open and the keys were still in the car. Thanks for teaching me everything from fishing, shooting, wood cutting, yabbying, and all the times we went camping. I'm glad I got to meet you and your family. Thanks for everything you did for my family when I needed you. Love you, mate. Thanks for all the good memories. Until we meet again. Rest in peace, Royden. Show them how to catch a big one up there, mate. Love you. Shane, Joanne, Hayden and Nicholas. Now, to give my voice a little rest, I'm going to invite a couple of people to come forward. And if you would come one after the other, please. Cheryl, if you'd like to come first, and when you're finished, then I'll invite Ben and then Shay to share a few memories. Thank you.
Royden Bro, as I called you. Our family is a split family, and I didn't meet Royden's family until 1993. That's the first time I had met my father, his father. After that, the need with others, brothers and sisters, was great. I have been part of Bro's family now for about 15 years. After a while, Bro came to live in Smithton, and by accident a friend told me about this new family. Asking their names, and when was told Royden, it started me thinking. It's an old-fashioned name, so I asked more questions to where they lived, and around to the house I went to be greeted by Royden, Lorna and the kids. Over the years, Bro used to bug me by sending me pics of spiders. He knew how I hated them, but it was his thing, taunting people. Bro, you always had a smile and loved spending time with you and the kids. He had another pet for me, and that would bug me about my mighty pies. Well, Bro, the last laugh up the pies. In 2015, he joined our local Lions Club and was a member for 6 years. You had the gypsy in you, mate, and then you reckoned it was my fault as I was older. Ha. He was one of the drivers that gave kids a ride on Rocky. He later transferred to Forth Valley Lines for 12 months and then returned to Smithton, where he rejoined our club. He was a member for up to about 5 weeks ago, and he will be sadly missed by his sense of humour. So, bro, I will miss you and love you, but you know you are at peace now, no more pain. There's so much more I could tell you about today. We'll keep it short. Till we meet again, we will always talk about you and never be forgotten. Your loving sister and family.
Well, for a start, thank you for everyone coming today. Would mean a lot to Royden. Got a couple of stories to tell, one from Mum as well. Mum asked me to say this one's about, well, quite a few years ago. Mum and Royden went camping down Trial Harbour. Anyway, one morning it was raining and Royden goes to Mum, he's like, come on, we're heading back home. So pack up about 2 o'clock in the morning, called into Bernie McDonald's to get some breakfast. Mum gives my uncle a call, who was living in Nan Pop at the time. Mum goes, Baz, put the kettle on, we're calling in for a cuppa about 5 o'clock. Baz goes, I'm not getting up that early. Pop had already gone out for his morning walk with the dog. And all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. It's Mum and Royden at the door. Again, about 5 o'clock in the morning, Nan's still fast asleep. So on their way back home, they decided to call in for a cuppa. And that's the main one Mum wanted me to tell. My probably funniest moment with Royden is we were out on the boat just a few years back, just out at Stanley towards Seal Island, and there was Ryan, Royden and myself on the boat, and a seal decided to come up onto the boat. And Royden was just like, first off he was talking to the seal to get off, no, so Royden was just had a bat beside him, back the seal with the bat, still wouldn't go. Royden was like, yep, we're going back to land, going home, and just never forget the fun times fishing, camping, going out four-wheel driving. That he will be missed by all of us. Thanks.
Hi. I've been asked to read out 2 messages today. The first is from Maria Johnson. I have many fond memories of Royden. One in particular was at a work Christmas party. He'd had a few too many tequilas before we got upstairs to the restaurant, and when he walked in and seen the other paying customers, he ran back out and said, I can't go in there, I'm too drunk. Suddenly, he was running up and down the road outside, trying to sober himself up a bit. Eventually, he returned and sat at the other side of the room from me. Next thing I know, he's throwing grapes at me. I don't think that run did very much. It was time to open the Secret Santa presents, and Royden opened his, a basket of spreads, and threw it across the floor saying, why would I want that? Well, by the end of the night, we found him passed out in the bushes across the road, holding onto his esky of scallops. Think he had a great Christmas. Another memory of Royden was his ability to make everybody evacuate the room every time he passed wind. Royden always knew how to make us laugh with a joke or two up his sleeve. You couldn't get a better man. He was kind and caring and would go out of his way to help anyone. He will be missed by all of his workmates. Rest in peace, my dear friend. And the second message is from my mum, Tracy Collis. Royden Milner, where do I start? I first met Royden when he came to Stanley Fish. He was put next to me at the splitting table, even though Anita and Julie were the ones to train him. I was literally stuck with him. Thinking to myself, well, this looks great. He's a grumpy old man and it's not going to be a good season. Well, wasn't I proven wrong? Within 10 minutes of asking his name, where he lived and where he came from, I knew this guy wasn't as grumpy as he looked. We had many races on who could split the most scallops over the next few years, soon learning that again he was right up with all the new hits on the radio and singing along. I can't say that he was the best singer, but it was always a good time singing along together. Over time, we all moved along to Hersey Seafoods, a great little group of splitters who all loved a bit of banter, and wow, wasn't Royden good at that, and playing practical jokes. It was nothing for Royden to leave the table last on our breaks, so he could either tie up our aprons in knots, hide them, or put frills and shells among the scallops in the bowl you'd split so that it weighed more. I was the only one who usually found these things when I was washing the scallops. He was always well known for finding rotten scallops and saying to us, "There's a rotten scallop here somewhere," but it was never a rotten scallop, just a rotten Royden's bumhole. Royden became like a brother to me. We shared lots of stories about our lives and families to each other. Who knew back then that our children would marry and we would have 3 beautiful granddaughters now? When we went to the football, the movies, the cinema and dinner dates. We played darts together, and boy, that's when you'd see Royden's grumpy side. He would always say that I set him up each week to play the top players, but it was really just the luck of the draw. We'd also go fishing out on his boat. Well, that's when he could get it going. I'm not sure how many times we packed up and took off to Stanley, backed the boat in off the trailer, only for the bloody thing to not start. So then it was back to the bus, back the trailer in, and off home we went. No fish and not even a wet ass. He called the boat the garden ornament, and he said that he just liked to take it out for a drive to say, "Hey, I'm cool, I have a boat. It might not go, but I still have one." We shared many camping trips with our families and extended families to the East Coast, Arthur River and Black River. Life was never dull when Royden was about. He was a likeable man that most of his workmates got along with. But when push come to shove, like one day it did, he wasn't scared to offer the person out the back to the car park for a round or two. There are many more things that I could say, but I want to finish by saying, Royden, you know I will be here for all the family, not just the grandkids. I might not be as lenient as you were at times, but I'll always care for them and hopefully guide them in the right directions in life. I know you'll be watching over us all. I love you and I will miss you, my brother, until we see each other again. Happy fishing and rest in peace.
Thank you to each of you who shared just then, because it's not always easy to get up. But I would like to give the opportunity, if there's anybody would like to get up and share a couple of brief thoughts, please, this is your opportunity. I'll make it open to you.
How are we all? Firstly, thanks everyone for coming. As you know, we come all the way down from Queensland, shit like that. A few of the stories are going to have swearing in them, so I hope you don't mind, because we're kind of bogan. But, so, first of all, one of the stories I got, we're out at Stanley, going fishing. I'm in a 4.75 metre half cab, I'm pretty sure you ended up with that. But Royden's out there in this little tinny, so we're all there looking for crayfish, and it's like, oh yeah, sweet. You know, we'll go around the rocks. I'm thinking, where the hell's Royden gone? And looking around, it's like, seas are starting to get rough, I'm starting to shit bricks. And next thing I know, there's this little tinny. Like, you ever seen the tinny bashing that you see on the YouTube videos? Yeah, that was Royden. I thought, how the fuck is he staying in that boat? It's like, what the actual fuck? But then, yeah, another trip actually, they had you out in the boat on that one. And again, Royden disappears. It's like, he's gone somewhere, you know, there's me, so forth. I think Mark was out on his boat, Dad's out on his boat. And again, here comes this fucking, what was it, probably 12 foot, if that? And it's tinny bashing through the ocean. I'm like, mate, you're fucked. But yeah, then, you know, of course, you know, the stories for fishing are just endless. But honestly, best bloke you'd ever want to meet. Like, took everyone in his family, including himself. But I don't know where else to go with this, except, mate, what a fucking legend. But honestly, you guys, I can tell you now, proud as punch. You just all know the fuck out of him, as everyone does. But he was proud of all of yous. That's 100% guaranteed. So on that, I'm going to get my bogan ass out of here before I end up in tears. But I will, yeah, cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, give him a clap. You're welcome. So, is there anybody else that would like to quickly come forward? After all, this is, you know, your loved one. Okay. Well, thank you for being brave enough to do that. Look, we're about to now have a montage that's been prepared today of special memories, and I encourage you to enjoy the memories that have been put forward.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the trees. Crickets are singing and lightning bugs are floating on the breeze. Baby, get ready. Across the field where the creek turns back by the old stumble road, I'm gonna take you to a special place that nobody knows. Baby, get ready. Ooh, you and me going fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and counting the stars where the cool grass grows. Down by the river in the full moonlight, we'll be falling in love in the middle of the night, just moving slow.
I'm sure you all enjoyed that, a beautiful bunch of memories. At this point, we'd like to just say a special thank you to the staff at the Smithton Hospital for the love and the care for which they gave to Roy, but also to the support that they gave to the family. Thank you to those who've travelled far to join with us today. Your presence is greatly appreciated. I'm not sure anyone can beat Queensland, can they? Okay, again? Okay. A reminder to you all that you're invited to stay behind for some refreshments and for sharing of memories. There's a poem that we're close to finishing, but it's called The Fishing Hole in the Sky. I'm sure it's in your program, but I'll read to you. When I come to the end of the horizon and enter the other shore, remember me with fondness, cry for me no more. I have found my final resting place, that special spot to fish. Remember the times that we shared, you too I will miss. This is the journey I must take, and I must go alone. Know that my heart is with you as I take this journey home. To that final fishing hole for fishermen like me, to tell the biggest fishing tales about the one that got away. Remember me with fondness. This is not goodbye. It is till we meet again at the fishing hole in the sky. We're now coming to a time of committal, and may I ask you to stand if you're able. Death is a very natural part of life and an ever-present reality always happening around us. Yet when it touches our lives, it leaves us bereft and broken. To all of you who are hurting, sad and feeling the loss, I hope that during this day you will share a hug, a laugh, or if you're old enough, even a beer, and dare to remember the good times. Life is a gift given to each of us, but so is family. There are no promises of time given to any of us, but only opportunity to love and to be loved. To you, Roy's family, his wider family and friends, and to any of you who have lost a loved family member or a special friend in this passing, I extend to you today my sympathy, but also that of Parkside Funerals as well. We've all heard so many stories today and learnt so much about Roy. Continue to let the memories come, share, laugh. Let the tears fall even. It's normal. You are here today because you loved Roy, a man who walked to the beat of his own drum. We're here to say our goodbyes, and some of you will never forget him, and most of all, the love that was given to you throughout your life. This is a gift that is yours to keep. Now we need to say our last goodbye to Roy, in sadness at his death, but also in celebration and respect for his life, and our special privilege for sharing in it. To mourn for him, to acknowledge that his life has ended, and then to bid him farewell. So today we say, farewell, dear Roy. You were loved in life, and you will be loved in death, and you will never be forgotten. We bid you rest in peace.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories, they gather round her, minus lady.